Hey Pisces. So here's the deal. I'm going to preface this a little bit. I first of all need you to understand that the amount of opportunity and change that is coming out of this particular phase of your life is so incredible. And because of the power of the magician that's coming out, it tells me that you absolutely are going to reap the benefits of what you've been working on. Okay? However, let's start with this. Okay, let's just start here. I'm not trying to be a total Debbie Downer, but the devil is strong. In this reading, it's very strong. And we get the 9 of Swords as well, 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords, we're getting some of the more challenging energies that we deal with as a human being. We all go through it. We all have to deal with it. And it is a part of healing, like that ancestral lineage and dealing with culture and the influence of society and, really breaking free from those shells. It's hard work, right? It really is. And we're like spoon-fed ideas. And when those ideas don't really work out to be what reality is, it can be disconcerting. And I feel like that's kind of what the story of this devil is not just like one person. It's not just one situation, one relationship, one thing. It's not. It's a culmination of many different sources of input. And it's important for you to see that. Because when I'm looking here at this 10 of Cups and this 2 of Wands, like there is nothing that I want more in the world to be like everything is great and all hunky-dory and fine and dandy. But this 10 of Cups connected with the 7 of Cups tells me that you don't know what to believe anymore. Because everything that you believed in led you to the devil. And everything that you believed in came from somewhere. Like we are taught to believe in the ultimate success of romance and love. We are taught romantic love, not love in general, but romantic love. We are taught to believe in fairy tales and all of this. And being Jupiter ruled, being Neptune ruled, you do have ideals. And the love of humanity and the love of the universe and the love of the cosmos really does just exude from a Piscean energy. Because that's your archetype. That's what you represent. And it gets you into trouble because when you have to deal with people, it's not on a soul-to-soul level, which is how you like to operate, a level of truth, but you hit up against egos and personalities. And you're like, oh my God, like I really believe in true love. I believe in the goodness of this person. I believe in the goodness of this world. And yet people keep proving me wrong. And it gets like, you're like, man, like I really want to have faith in everybody. And I'm really working and I'm really doing everything that I can do. But like, man, people just keep disappointing me. So this devil is not just one thing. And you can't operate as though it is. You need to understand that many layers are being affected with this tower. Okay? And no matter how much work you've done, there's always more work. Unless you are, a monk in Tibet converting into your rainbow body, right? Those people are exempt. Right? Those monks are exempt. But all the rest of us in humanity, we have work to do. So here you are not knowing what to believe. I'll tell you what, non-belief is your absolute best friend right now. Non-belief, look, I'm not saying past lives exist or don't. I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying karmic, soulmates, twin flames, meant to be, all of that, in this instance, for this moment in time, it doesn't matter. In a way, I'm kind of seeing you in a self-preservation mode here because you're really just taking care of yourself. And I think that's the best place for Pisces to be right now. Taking care of your health, taking care of your heart, taking care of your mental, any kind of psychological stuff that you have, right? We have Chiron in Aries, and that's a very important time for all of us. mental health becoming more and more prominent especially in the Western societies. And so we do need to clear up a lot of that stuff. And that's you. That's something that only you can do. And you can't do it in a Seven of Cups kind of fantasy realm. It needs to be something that you take a real hard look at, but it also requires that letting go. So, I mean, we're dealing with a lot of different stuff. It's kind of like you've got caught in a little bit of a hurricane of your own making and the making of society and your parents and your friends and all of this. And now you're like, oh my God, none of it is helping me. None of it is really that good. All of those beliefs, all of those things that everyone else is telling me to do actually isn't leading me toward a path of happiness. But when you, and some Pisces, you may have gone through this over the past few years. So you're looking at yourself and you're like, okay, well, Jane, I'm already past that. Yeah, and you know how hard it is. And so we're going to talk about the moving past part for those of you who are kind of already through a lot of this. So, because I think some Pisces are really, like I said, they're tapping into their power, they're becoming empowered by life, and they're really understanding who they are and what that means. Just simply knowing that you're a soul, you're a spiritual entity, or maybe you identify with being a starseed or whatever, really cut a lot of that stuff out as much as possible. You can operate as a soul and a spiritual being, that's great, and a being of love, but you also still have like things to do. And I think in the mundane world is actually where a lot of happiness is going to be found for you right now. Going to work, cleaning your house, doing the laundry, taking care of your kids, or taking them to soccer practice, or like whatever. Like all the regular things, that is where Pisces happiness is found right now. Because this Knight of Swords is very erratic, and I think maybe you have attracted, or you're dealing with, or maybe you've outgrown someone, right? Like you've outgrown a lot of people lately, and you're starting to see that they aren't growing with you and they're not changing with you. Again, a lot of the King fixed energy here. So there's a lot of people that aren't budging. And again, that's part of your like, yeah, but why aren't you? Like, why don't you want to? And it's a part of the pain. Worrying so much and caring so much and trying so hard for someone else, obviously that doesn't work. And so any feelings of desperation are quickly going by the wayside. Any feelings of intensity quickly going by the wayside. This is a time when Pisces finds peace. I know I said a lot of stuff here and I know it's intense, but it's a time when Pisces finds peace. Okay? And you're looking out for yourself, you're doing your own thing, and you're just kind of allowing these light bulbs to turn on. You're allowing illumination to happen because you're not resisting. And when you don't resist illumination, that Wheel of Fortune is allowed, the Wheel of Fortune is allowed to turn over, and look what happens. Like you're walking straight into it, and straight into, again, it's financial, it is romantic, it is everything that you thought it was supposed to be before, but this time it's real, and it's better because you let that stuff go. And it's your own making. The Magician, it's your own making. You are the one responsible for the blessings in your life. So, and you always knew that. And we all know that. We all know that we are responsible for creating our own life. So when you look at where you're coming from and you're like, wait, I didn't mean to create that. So if I know that I'm responsible for creating stuff, how did I create that or co-create that alongside of someone else? And so you're figuring it out. It's all becoming a lot more clear. This alchemy thing, the art card, this alchemy thing becoming a lot more obvious to you, understanding the process of setting intentions, understanding the process of adjusting vibration and certain emotions and all of that. Because when you're in a state of a Knight of Swords or a Nine of Swords, Five of Swords, Five of Coins, like you're manifesting just more of that stuff without even knowing it. So the level of consciousness and the level of awareness is getting stronger and stronger and stronger day after day after day. And what a blessing, what a gift. So when we look at this Ace of Swords here, I honestly think, look, for some of you, you're in love and you have a husband or a wife and you have a relationship that you're really working out. So what I see here, two extraordinarily different people, totally different perspectives on life, a totally different way of going about life. And yet somehow I feel like you're going to be able to meet in the middle. If there's children involved and you're doing things for the sake of children, I believe a steady agreement. This is kind of like a let's agree to disagree kind of deal. As cheesy as that is, let's agree to disagree, because you're never going to convince the other person to see it the way you see it. So you have to figure out how to coexist peacefully, especially for the sake of children, if that's the case. Now, if you're someone who's believing in like soul contracts, soulmates, something was supposed to be, it was all meant to be, it was supposed to be this way, seriously, let it go. That in and of itself is a very nasty attachment. Okay, it's very nasty. And it leads us down the rabbit hole and it gets us stuck and it gets us into weird places. And it's possible that that's what got you into this whole kind of thing in the first place. Okay. Yeah, the king energy is when they all come together and they all culminate like this. I'm not saying it's like a good person, bad person, right? Whether someone's good or bad is kind of irrelevant in this whole thing. It's just whether something's right for you or not, or whether something is right to continue with. So let's look at your energy right now. So first of all, actually, let me skip that because I see something new blossoming. I do. I see something new blossoming. I see something coming to fruition, but it's not at your own hand. It's not with your own doing, and it's certainly never going to be what you expect. Not in a million years. Okay? It's going to be something totally different. Now, let's switch. I'll come back to that in a second, but let's look at the Empress. Clarified with the Empress. What did I say about the Libra energy? So we are talking about Libra and Virgo energy, 7th and 8th house vibes for you guys. We don't have any planets in there. Won't have any planets in there for a while. So, there's just kind of emptiness in those houses. When we talk of the 7th house, we speak of relationships, partnerships, both romantic, marriage, that kind of thing, and also business partnerships and friendships and that kinds of thing. And then we talk of 8th house, which is a house of sex and transformation, okay? Now, speaking just generically, transformation, okay? When the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Coins, 7th and 8th house energies come together, and they work together, there is a quality of, it's isolation, it's discriminatory, it's very analytical, very detail-oriented, and cautious. There's a lot of second guessing moving forward in these particular areas of your life. Even though you see something on the horizon, and again, right, Aquarius, I know, even though you still do not have a super strong desire to push. And that's exactly what you need. Please do not second guess your natural state. What comes naturally to you right now? We all have different moments, right? Sometimes Mars is doing something and our energy is like off the charts. And then other times it's like, oh my God, I don't want to leave the house. And then other times you're like, wow, I'm feeling so creative. Like we know how this flow goes. We get it. So the more in tune with what your tendencies are, the less you fight them, When you start saying, well, I should do this, I should get back on the dating apps, I should start going out, I should this, I should that, but you also feel this like hesitation, again, a theme for the month for all the signs. It's hesitation because what we're really doing is waiting for Mercury and Venus to cross over Uranus. And when that happens in the next couple of weeks, then you're going to feel a rush of activity. Or maybe not, because you're moving into the fourth house stuff and you need to focus your attention on your home and your family, and that's it. And that's fine. That's where your heart needs to be. Fine. Totally, totally fine. With Pluto and Saturn retrograding in the 11th house, right? The 11th house naturally ruled by Aquarius, you are coming into knowledge. And sometimes that knowledge takes a while to become obvious and for you to familiarize yourself with that knowledge. Like I said, this is not an overnight kind of thing. The tower can be an in and out situation or circumstance, but it's the understanding that takes a long time. Okay, so these kind of over analytical, overcritical, resistant to budge, resistant to give even a lot at this particular moment in time, to give to other people, not to give to yourself. So there's a high quality selfishness, quote unquote, going on with you, which is really needed. Focusing on your morning routine, focusing on your job, focusing on your savings or your bank account, focusing on your self-care. That is what Pisces needs to be doing. Now, but and you'll still be doing your regular activities, of course. But in terms of like inviting this new thing, there's a delay for a reason. The self-care is needed to turn this wheel over, you guys. You're looking for something new. You're looking for someone that really cares about you. Look, this King of Wands is looking at the Queen of Cups. Clearly, you're the Queen of Cups. You're coming out with a lot of the feminine qualities right now. With this person or with this circumstance, it's highly masculine, which is not necessarily Pisces' favorite modality. Male or female doesn't matter. You are a feminine sign. And if you have especially a lot of feminine placements in your sign, right? A lot of earth and water in earth and water houses, a lot of femininity, then you need that more masculine counterpart. And here we have a King of Wands. So King of Wands is a very masculine counterpart. Someone who is aggressive in how they feel about you, someone who's aggressive in what they say, in their expression of their love. When we think of a Leo energy, I actually love a Leo vibe. Again, they could be any sign. The fire, let's just say fire, right? Sagittarius, Aries included. The fire quality of a King of Wands, I love for a Pisces because they're expressive of how they feel. They're not afraid to fall in love. They go into love with both feet, and they provide a feeling of safety for the Queen of Cups. And she takes a while to blossom. And this is someone that's totally willing to wait because their flame never dies out, right? So Aries I see as the spark. Leo I see as the bonfire, and Sagittarius I see as the wildfire. So when we're talking about the bonfire, it never dies out. And they'll keep that flame warm. They'll keep it warm for you, for when you're ready. But you need time to be ready. You need the isolation. You need the time at home. Like your soul knows why it chose its time. It knows why it chose Pisces, for a main planet in your chart, right? It knows why, because you needed to go through this time. It saw the whole spectrum. It saw all the coding, so the love is on its way. You don't need to think your way through this. Put your mental weapons down. Stop thinking about how this is going to come to fruition. It's just going to happen. That's the power of intention. Power of intention, taking care of yourself, and enhancing love of self, self-respect, continuing to operate in the world, continuing to achieve the things you wish to achieve. And this is going to just fall into your lap. We might be a little ways away, but Mars is going to be making its way through Virgo. So, it's going to be making its way through Virgo, and it's going to be making its way into the 5th house now. So the romance and the sexuality, it's a part of 5th house Mars. All right? So it's starting. The wheel is turning over slowly, but any resistance and any force trying to push this to happen, it's just going to slow that wheel down. Okay? It is. It's just going to slow it down. But I love the King of Wands for you. I do. All right. Slow transition. You're moving slowly from the past and into the future, and the past still has a little demon on your shoulder. It's still whispering to you. Okay? 5 of Swords. It's your choice to not listen. This is your liberation here, which I love. Love, love, love the Page of Swords for you guys, because it's so incredibly open and optimistic and just like, okay, whatever, like, you know best. And you're looking at this 8 of Swords, which is connected with the 8 of Cups, and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. Because with the Ace of Swords comes new perspective. And with Page of Swords, you're able to understand what that perspective is. Again, another theme, with a lot of themes coming out this month. Perspective on your perspective. The reality check, the grounding, which we have here. So these don't have a lot of power on you right now. See, the good thing about actually being at a 5 of Coins is you really have nothing to lose. Stay or go, it doesn't matter. You really have nothing to lose. So you might as well just like freaking be a rock star. You might as well be a rock star because you've got nothing to lose. Moving on to the 7 of Swords. The death is a slow process, as I continue to talk about. The 5 of Coins, the moon energy, the death, the unknown, the kind of dark, unseen. But see, when you are in the unknown, possibilities are infinite. You need to understand that. When you're in the unknown and you don't know where this path is leading, that means the outcome and the possibilities are absolutely endless. So embrace the endlessness of how this could turn out. Let something die. Please, let stuff die. Love is wild. Life is wild. There is a lot of death in the wilderness. It's a part of the cycle. If you fight the cycle, you're fighting yourself, and then you die slowly inside. Right? That's why this mundane energy is important, because it's going to keep you going. It's that Energizer Bunny, Virgo kind of quality. It's going to keep you going. It's going to keep you on task. It's going to keep you on point. And you're going to feel that sense of accomplishment. Okay? Here it is. Ace of Cups, Page of Cups. It's slow integration. You slowly becoming more and more and more and more empowered day after day after day. Slowly this energy starts to come in. People start talking to you. People start reaching out to you. You start feeling this surrender. You start feeling like you have an open heart again. You start feeling ready. You start feeling more and more at peace. All these kinds of things start to lose their power over you. And it's just like this cycle of magic, a total cycle of magic. So this person that is associated with the devil, okay, or this situation here with the kings, this person is also something that you should be very grateful for, because they are a very substantial part of your spiritual evolution. You don't need to worry about them. All right. And I think that you're going to be distancing yourself more and more and more, as we also see with this 9 of Wands here, right? We have the 9 of Wands, you becoming more protective, you becoming more detached, as is the nature of Saturn in the 11th house. You tend to withdraw, to be a little bit slippery or, unavailable. And when I say unavailable, it's unavailable to the people that should not have access to you. course, you'll be available for this person. Of course you will. You'll be available for yourself. You'll be available for your children. Of course you will. That's the essence of the protection that I'm talking about, protecting your energy, because clearly there was some drain in your life, some leak. And I think it's this King of Swords, you know. It is this King of Swords. And while you're still processing and repairing the leak, you need to make sure that that person or that situation doesn't make its way through your door again. So I think you're on heightened alert at this moment in time. You know, you're on heightened alert because you're just still trying to figure out this new skin of yours. Here's the isolation that I'm talking about, but it's for the purpose of acquiring wisdom. And I think you're still in the processing phase, right? The Hermit is all about processing. Virgo being associated with the digestive tract, right? That's what's happening. The food is getting processed. So it's about digesting what happened, figuring out the true essence of the lessons, figuring out the true essence of your path, the true essence of self-care. Like, what does that really mean? Pisces has a hard time with that. You know, yes, the stereotype of you guys being cozy and liking to be in bed, like, yeah, that's a thing for sure. My Pisces friends, definitely nappy, like to take naps. But that's not necessarily self-care. And that can be misconstrued and misunderstood. Self-care has a lot of different working parts to it. And I think you're really understanding what that means now. Okay? A Virgo is very good at self-care, sometimes too good and it's annoying, So you're tapping more into that Virgo-esque energy, which is great. And also Sagittarius energy coming through with the Temperance card, the Sagittarius, free-spirited. Here we have some Aries cards coming out. You're tapping into the fire in yourself, the fire within your life, the fire in your heart, connecting with passion, like passion for life. And you know what? This is balance between, I think a new love interest is very possible for you right now if that's something that you want. And it's not, you know what it is? Because clearly you had been operating in extremes. And you know what? This is like the mixture of both. The mixture of the intensity and the sexual passion and the sexual connection mixed with the being comfortable to be yourself, being at home, being in your comfy suit, kind of in between there. This is someone that you can have a very productive and very honest relationship with. I think that's online for a lot of you with Mars coming into the 5th house and then later on making its way into Virgo. It's a ways away, but it's going to get there. And when it does, all the seeds that are planting now over the course of the next month, they'll start culminating and they'll start fruiting. So pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to the thoughts that you're putting out there, because the effects of the Magician do not happen overnight. They do not happen overnight. You're still healing. Like I said, it's not an accident that the Aquarius card and the Virgo card are upside down. Right? Aquarius upside down, healing, and processing. Okay, yeah, makes sense. But you're also not going to let that stop you with the Queen of Wands. You are leading with your heart now, rather than your mind. Where the mind can drive you crazy, the heart never steers you wrong because it's operating from a place of truth, which was the very first card we got. It's operating from a place of truth. And when you're aligned with truth, free will and choice, it just becomes an illusion at that point, because there's only one thing, and that's the path of love. That's the path of absolute compassion. So you are on the right track. You are evolving so quickly, even though you can't perceive it from the inside out, but you are evolving so freaking fast, and it's amazing, and I'm so excited for you, and you are opening so many new opportunities for yourself. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful reading. Thank you guys so much for everything. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing month, and I'll see you soon. Take care.